Good afternoon, everybody. Give us a minute to come online for everybody. Alright, everybody, so good evening. I am in Tennessee right now, and I'll explain a little bit later, but I want to give a minute to come online. We may have some severe weather possibly on Tuesday and then Wednesday, Thursday. Over a very widespread area, so we would need to make a plan for that. But I'm coming out of Florida. I'm in Tennessee. I'm headed north right now. I'm not quite sure exactly where I'm headed, but we need to Florida right now because, like I said, we could be storm chasing again this week. It's been a while, aside from the hurricane. We'll know more details on that later. But I will be heading back down to Florida here probably in the next week or so. But, I've been down there for several weeks. Well, kind of a week and a half, 2 weeks. And I want to thank everybody right away. We went down there with about $2,200 from my YouTube channel, which is you guys. The super chats, the PayPal donations, and all that we earmarked during those couple of live streams was between $2,000 and $2,500, and that was enough to obviously get me down there. We bought, wasn't able to do a whole lot widespread, but there was 2 people that were going around and cleaning up all of the, for lack of a better term, the old people's homes so that they could get in and try to salvage stuff, and they had 0 equipment. I'll talk about that in a minute. So I said, screw it, and went to Home Depot and blew it all on them and got them some equipment. And I checked back in with them the next day, and they were using the equipment very well. One of the things I bought them was a really expensive chainsaw because it was the only one they had left, and they had already doled up 2 blades. And they were the ones that came with it, so I'm sure they were cheap blades. But I ran across these 2 people in their mid-60s, these 2 older guys. Well, not older, but they actually might have been in their 70s, but yeah, mobile home community, like a double-wide community that just got totally shredded down there in the Burn Store area south of Punta Gorda, almost to Fort Myers. And they were using a handsaw to try to cut up 40-foot palm trees that were laying all over the place because the homeowners association or the HOA or whatever wouldn't do a damn thing, as usual. Welcome to HOAs. Wouldn't do anything. They wouldn't let contractors in there to work. They wouldn't do anything. And they were just trying to help some of these older people that are like wheelchair bound and stuff get into their homes and try to salvage stuff, even though half of their home is blown away. And I ran across them and I asked them, you know, I'm like, well, what do you need? And they're like, well, we could use a saw. I'm like, all right, say no more. So you noticed on the one live stream when I was down there, we ran across that tent that was selling the Husqvarna saws. That was kind of upsetting me because when I stopped there, they had everything marked up way more than it should have been. So I thought that was like a, if you need help, come here. No, that was a big sales technique. So I pretty much told them and left. Went to the nearest Home Depot, which was up by Tampa, that actually had a saw. Got them like a 20-inch blade saw, like a $900 saw. I mean, best saw I could find them, and coincidentally, it was literally the only saw they had. Made the decision easier. Then we got them some crowbars and some hammers and stuff. I dropped it off, and they both about cried, and they were happy that they didn't have to handsaw these. But I told them that they were nuts for trying to use a handsaw, like a legitimate like handsaw, like a Christmas tree saw, for trying to cut up these 40-foot palm trees. I'm like, you guys are nuts. It's like, hold on, let's get you something else. So thank you guys for that. You know, we can't help a whole lot of people with just a little bit of money, but what I have found, instead of going around and being like, hey, I'm going to buy you, you know, a pair of some dry feet and do that for 200 people, like that's pointless. You know, if you can help like we did there, we found 2 people. Okay, now that community is going to be pretty well taken care of because we got 2 able-bodied retired people with chainsaws and hammers and work clothes and crowbars. I mean, now that community of probably 50 trailers can actually do something. You know, you got to start small. That's the problem I see on like a lot of these bigger disaster operations. They start too big. You got to start small. So we were able to do that. I did film a little bit of it, but I need to carefully weave it into a bigger video that I'm doing because they were very fine with being on camera, but they preferred not to be. And basically, you could tell what they were saying was, well, the way I interpreted it was, you know, they were okay with it because they knew that that was kind of the stipulation of getting the free stuff. But at the same time, as a Christian, not everything's about the views, and I feel like my channel, all the donations and the ad revenue comes basically from the live streams and not necessarily the videos of what happens later. I kind of wrote it off. There's a little bit of B-roll. It's going to be woven into a bigger video that I'm going to put in the whole hurricane, but I didn't really want to shove a camera in their face too much, just out of respect for them, because they were polite, frankly, because they were polite enough to say that they preferred not to, but if I needed to, they understood. I do have the one guy's phone number, so when we go back down there in a week or two, I will check in with them, but very appreciative people, so thank you guys for that. Yeah, if you're new or you're just jumping on, we did a couple of live streams, like 3 of them, where I said I was going to set aside all the ad revenue and any PayPal revenue that came in during that time, and I did, so that worked out well. There's a lot of people down there helping out, a lot of churches, a lot of just a lot of private. There's a lot of ex-military people that are down there. There's a couple of staging areas for volunteers that aren't really with a bigger group. You know, basically, you know, kind of, you know, I don't want to say the misfits, but you know, the people that don't fit in with a group to go volunteer. They're kind of giving you know, areas to check and people to check on. It's going a lot smoother than previous hurricanes I'd seen. It's going 10 times better than the Kentucky flooding. Just in general, the operation is going so much better. Everything seems to be so much better taken care of. People are actually getting getting help that they need, which is good to see. So I want to thank all of you for that. I didn't get out of there that quick, but I need to because I still have to pay myself and allow myself to have a roof over my head. So I do have to pull myself out of that situation here for a week to 10 days and potentially go chase some more storms. It looks like we could have a very marginal severe weather threat somewhere in the central or the northern plains, maybe on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then possibly in the northeast, Ohio Valley, maybe even the Great Lakes region. This is, I haven't looked at a single model. This is all from the Storm Prediction Center's text. But even if it's a small chance, I'll take it at this point because things are few and far between, especially with hurricane season basically being, we had one hurricane so far, that's it. The damage down there is absolutely terrible. I had a lot of people asking why I was not streaming like I promised. I found myself on Pine Island, and I was going to start the stream, and I decided it was way too graphic to be live streaming. I mean, I don't think that the station that's there, I do not think is appropriate for a live stream. It is appropriate for a video in which things can be edited, because it's not, I'm not into the whole exploiting people's misery for views things, and most people aren't, so I think we can all agree on that. But so what I did is I put the 360 camera on the roof, and I ran up and down the main highway that goes north-south on Pine Island, and then the Matlacha Bridge corridor, the causeway that they had to rebuild and everything. That's where the most destruction was. So I ran the 360 camera through there, so I have to comb through that when I get home, or back to my office, wherever I end up, or wherever. I need to comb through that over the next day or two, and make sure that all the the graphic details are either blurred out or taken out of there. A lot of people are have no idea what to do, so it's a real sad situation, but at least the cleanup is starting. But Fort Myers Beach was in bad shape, but I'll be honest with you guys, Pine Island's right up there with it. I didn't realize that Pine Island was basically almost just a giant mobile home park. I thought it was all stilt houses, but it's not. It's almost all mobile home park. My friend Chris Smith his mom has a very well-built house right on the bay. If you look across the bay, you can actually see Fort Myers Beach down there in St. James, which is on the south side of Pine Island. Pine Island's 8 miles long. It's only accessible through the Matlacha Bridge, which the causeway was destroyed, but they rebuilt the causeway in 4 days, which has got to be a record. He's got his mom's house down there. That's also known as the house that him and Reed were at during the hurricane. That's where Reed sunk his car. So he wanted me to meet his mom, and we stopped down there. And down there in the south side of the island is very, very much more well built. However, you can see evidence of where the storm surge was. The paved roads are no longer paved roads. It's literally just sand now. There's like 6 inches of sand over all the roads. It's the central and the northern half of the island that's primarily mobile homes, and which is really, really bad, as you can imagine, the wind that there was, because just it doesn't take much to take those apart, especially the older ones. The newer ones, yeah, still, I mean, any mobile home is not built super well, but especially the really old ones are really rough with that. So I need to get out and pump gas. So I'm sure this is gonna be fun. But gas has gone up a little bit, presumably due to hurricane. There's a rock in my shoe that I gotta get out first here. Ouch. Yeah, as soon as I get this rock out of my shoe, we'll be good for gas. Alright, give me just a minute. Shouldn't take too long. I don't even have any idea where I am. I'm somewhere in Tennessee. It beats me on the specifics, though.
Dr. 371, 1098, code 4.
Right there, that's simple.
We might now have found the world's slowest gas pump. And in this entire amount of time, we've just now pumped 1.5 gallons. So this might take a minute. Yeah, we're at $3.35 here. It's cheaper in Georgia. I had it for right about $3 down there. Well, hopefully this pump speeds up. You gotta be kidding me.
Okay, Tony.
Let me look at something.
Can you look for a 27 for this 90 mile out there, please?
Oh boy. Alright, I might lose my patience and cut this pump off early. Just hit 7 gallons. Yeah, we might lose our patience here. We're almost to Nashville, the Murfreesboro area here, I guess. That's the map says anyway. Take I-24 up into Kentucky probably. Maybe not. I don't even know what the GPS wants to take me here. Let me see here.
Head southeast toward the
Come on, GPS. I'm doing this today.
Head northwest toward Fort Biscayne.
Alright, I'm cutting the pump off. My patience is about run out with this thing. You gotta be kidding me. Oh my god, okay. Here we go. Yeah, I just don't get a whole lot of joy out of sitting at gas pumps. That's the thing I am not patient enough to do.
This route warns a slowdown on I-24 West. 56 p.m.
Man, my power steering just went out. You've got to be kidding me. Alright, we're gonna muscle this thing home because the power steering just went out. You've got to be kidding me. Like, can I just like go one day where we get, you know, like a car that doesn't break? Come on, man. Alright, it's time for a new car. I'm done with this. Let's go home and get a new car. I don't know what I'm going to buy it with, but we're going to get a new car. This is ridiculous. I've had it. Bob, if you're in here, you can come burn it down. We'll take the transmission out and save it for the next one. Yeah, I have power steering as well. You gotta be kidding me. I hate electronic power steering. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. It's a known Ford problem with pretty much every Ford anything with electric power steering from like 2013 to like now. Yeah, power steering racks just, I don't know if it's the rack or the motor, it's one of the two, but they just started to go bad. Yeah, Bob, the steering went out, I think the rack shot, so you can come burn this thing down if you want to. We'll take the transmission out before we burn it down and we can save it for the next one. I'm actually halfway between Bob and home right now, and I'm almost tempted to take it, but I don't really want to play the rental car game, so I think we're going to take this thing home and pray to God it doesn't like fall apart going down the road. So this could be a very entertaining live stream. Every newer car is, I'm convinced, is garbage. I am seriously convinced that like every single car that is now made is garbage. You don't notice it so much on the highway, obviously. No, guys, I'm not going to tow it home. I definitely cannot afford that. It's fine. It's just, it's you can tell it's the Ford power steering rack problem. I don't know if it's the actual rack or if it's the power steering motor on the rack, but one of the two, whatever. They basically, you know, it gets these dead spots, and it's a known Ford thing. It's really annoying. I don't know why they continue to make cars with known problem parts. It's just ridiculous. Why would Storm's in an unreliable vehicle? Well, I'm not exactly made of money, so I kind of have to purchase something within my budget. And I don't think it's really an unreliable vehicle. It's been a very reliable vehicle. All vehicles break. All machines break. You know, you go down the highway and you'll see semis pulled over left and right. You know, blown radiators, blown heater hoses. I mean, everything breaks. It's just it happens to be that every single time something of ours breaks, it's never close to home. Like, nothing can ever break at home. It's an unwritten rule. And also, it's a Ford Explorer, which is 5/10 of the problem. No, Bob, it's electric, so real nice. So it needs a rack. It basically just needs a rack. So the Taurus, the Fusion, the Flex, the Edge, they all use like the same thing, and it's just a known problem with these. Like, they're crap, and I don't know if it's the actual rack or the motor on the rack, but it's all one thing. So you just replace the whole damn thing. So, yeah. We'll figure out what we're going to do. I don't know exactly what I'm going to do yet, but I have a feeling I'm going to have to locate a used power steering rack and beg, borrow, and plead somebody in my town to throw it in, because I cannot turn around and go to Bob. So that's going to be fun. Yeah, it did happen to the Fusion. Piece of crap. Everything that Ford made when they went to this European platform in 2012 or whatever is junk. I'm sorry, they're all crap. You know, they switched to this European world car platform, and everything's just trash. I'm actually surprised we didn't have this issue sooner, because a lot of people that have high mileage Ford Explorers, and well, everybody's had the racks replaced by like 180,000. So we're sitting at 241,327.3 miles right now. So. It's not bad on the highway, but off of the highway, I'm sure it's going to be a real treat to drive. So we may have to cancel storm chasing this week to get this thing fixed. I'll wait and see. Can't move over because this guy's outside of here. Thanks, buddy. I guess I'm glad I didn't do this in the hurricane. Yeah, $2,000 for that power steering rack at Ford is probably cheap, because I was quoted around $3,500. But honestly, at this point, with the amount of miles, I would probably just find a used one on eBay and pray to God I can get it in time. I don't think it'd be too terrible bad to put in. The subframe's already come down once to put the transmission in, so the bolts are nice and loose. Bob, I promise, if we condemn the vehicle, I will remove the transmission. Absolutely. We've only got like 20 miles to put on this transmission. It's barely broke in. But yeah, you never know what's going to happen here on the live streams, guys. So. really should probably just go buy like a 2010 to 20 whatever Tahoe, because they're easy to fix. They're really easy to fix. Like this one here that's passing us, like that model year, those are easy. Not an old one. I'm not going to drive an old crusty vehicle, but you get like a 2012, 13, 14 with that where they still got the boxy bodies. They're pretty easy to maintain. They're relatively cheap to maintain too. So we'll see what we have to do here, but we'll probably fix this. I'm sure it's just a matter of getting somebody to fix it. It's really tough to do that in my town, and I am not in a position right now to turn around and drive it back to Georgia, even though I literally just came from there. Of course, this couldn't have broke like 3 hours ago. That would have been nice. We are heading up. I should probably check the GPS, make sure we're still going the right way. Oh yeah, we got 25 minutes here. Traffic around Atlanta was terrible. I think I sat in traffic for like an hour today, which for Atlanta standards probably isn't too bad. Down to 64 degrees, so it is to get cold out here. Well, colder. I shouldn't say cold, but colder. Can't really say 60s as being cold, because in January we'll consider that hot. Yeah, it was in the mid to upper 80s there in Florida. Much nicer down there. Say that we're gonna run into traffic. Just watch. We've had traffic for most of the day. It was just Atlanta. some point I probably should actually start dumping some of this fuel, and I've got 20 gallons of spare fuel. Some of the fall foliage is starting to occur back in the extreme southern part of Tennessee. Not seeing it so much here though, which is kind of surprising. Could be maybe something to do with the higher elevation, I'm not sure. People are really moving now, holy cow. No, I'm not going to dump the fuel, guys. I'm going to put the fuel in the fuel tank. Like, I'm not going to dump the fuel on the road. Absolutely not. I would not do that. But I just want to do a little bit of a live stream here, you know, just as we're going along, just for updates. It's kind of been in and out the past few days. Service hasn't been super great down there. It's been a little bit limited also to phone calls and such. nice day out here, I think. About ready to come around or go around Nashville rather here. And must be getting closer to Nashville because everybody's slowing down. Yep, we definitely are approaching Nashville. Smyrna, that's how you say it. Yeah, some of these areas around the country have frost and freeze warnings. So that's it's that time of year. Let's put it that way. We'll probably end up with, Andy, we probably will end up with a Suburban or a Tahoe. It's just, these Fords is just too much crap to deal with on them. Tahoes are, well, Suburban Tahoes, same thing, but they're just so much easier to work on, in my opinion. Maybe not the new ones, but like, the 2012 to 15, 16 era. I feel like maintenance on them's a lot cheaper too. Drive is kind of awful right now because the angle of the sun is literally just blinding me in through the driver's side window here. It's absolutely awful. This HOV lane over here, I don't know if it's open for I don't know if it's restricted or not. Let's see, what time is it? 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Oh, so it's not right now. Interesting. Seems like we've been up and down this area a lot lately. lost my sunglasses again. We got like 5 pairs of sunglasses, and they're in the car somewhere. I have no idea where in the car they are though. It's kind of a problem. So, yeah. This time of year, especially with that low sun angle where it seems like it just points in the car for even longer, it's a little bit beneficial to have a pair of sunglasses. But chair in the middle of the road, that's cool. Could drive a Mini Cooper, probably would hate that with every bit of my body. A friend of mine found a 2012, which is the last year they made them, a 2012 Crown Vic with 6,000 miles on it. And I'm like, now that's what you gotta buy. Can't remember what the price was, but it's reasonable. I'm like, holy cow. Like, obviously that thing sat in a parking lot its whole life. One thing I don't like about the Explorer is that I drive now is the all-wheel drive is on all the time. I don't like that. I grew up learning how to drive on, rear-wheel drive only, and primarily almost always driven trucks, which are obviously rear-wheel drive biased, and you can use four-wheel drive, but you get used to driving. You get used to driving rear-wheel drive, and it's different. So I wouldn't mind getting a Tahoe again, just to have the driving style back. But I am not going to go. I've seen a couple of suggestions to go get a loan. I'm not going to go get a loan. I think for a storm chasing vehicle is a terrible idea, because I'm not going to launch a vehicle that I owe $30,000 on into a tornado and potentially lose it, and then have a $30,000 loan to pay out. That is a terrible idea. We'll stick to the $10,000 you pay cash cars. I'm not saying we're going to get rid of this, but what I may end up doing is trying to figure out a way to... Somebody just blew a tire. Who the hell was it? Wasn't us, was it? No, it was that... I don't think it was us. I swear to God I heard a gunshot and it sounded exactly like somebody blew a tire. Oh yeah, it was that blue truck. Well, at least it wasn't us, because if we just blew a tire, I probably would have lost it. That probably would have been the last straw. We probably would have burnt the car down. But anyway, we've been looking at replacing this, so I may actually put this car on the back burner, pull the wrap off, and make this Nicky's car and then get it fixed, and then look at replacing, put this on the back burner, and then get this thing down to Bob or something and make them deal with it. I don't know. We'll see what we can do. It'll be interesting. You'll have to keep an eye on the YouTube community page over the next couple of days, because it'll be a scramble, because we've got potential storm chasing coming up, and I can't have the vehicle out of service, and I can't afford to rent a car. So this is going to be a very interesting couple of days here, how we end up going about this. And like, it's really tough in my town, because I really don't have any shops that actually do customer service. So, if this would have happened down there in Georgia, Bob would have dealt with it in a reasonable amount of time. But where I'm at, everybody's just like, screw you, you can wait a month. And it's like, no, I really can't. And then to use these expensive parts. Everybody wants to buy the Ford part, and it's like, no, just give me the cheap, dormant, remanufactured piece of junk. Like, just give me something that'll get it by, It's got 230 or 240 something thousand miles on it. I don't need a Ford remanufactured part for $4,000. It's worth more than the flipping car. I mean, hell, I could go buy another one of these cars with 150,000 miles or less on it. Not even kidding, for $6,000. I've got a connection. Literally walk in, say, give me your nicest one, $6,000, walk out. Take the tires off, take all the new parts off, put on the new one, you're good to go. Just stupid to put a fourth. It's like these people that wanted to charge me $6,000 to put a transmission in this. I'm like, for Christ's sakes, guys, $6,000 is more than the car is worth. And then that's when Bob spoke up and he's like, no, you're stupid, come bring it down to Georgia. And then I did, and he charged me a third of that, which made a lot more sense. Subarus are good, yeah. There was a couple of bad years of Subarus. You got to be careful when you buy a Subaru. I think it was like it was like those 2010s to like 2013s or something. All the head gaskets were just blowing out of them left and right.
Keep left to stay on I-24 West.
Something like that. I don't know, but there has been some bad. But there's bad, you know, runs of every car. But I know that there was a period of time there where you really do not want to buy a used Subaru. Toyotas are good, but you know, one thing you guys got to remember, I have a budget. I do not have any money to replace a vehicle right now, so that's why I insure everything so heavily in case I get into an accident. And I'm not going to get into an accident to total the car and take the insurance. I know that's going to be somebody's comment, which is funny, and yes, that's funny, I agree, but that's why I insure everything heavily, because if I get into an accident, I need it covered. And we might get into an accident up here the way everything's stopping.
In a half mile,
So
take the interchange.
we'll see what we can do. I'll get underneath this thing and make sure that something's not bound up. But it feels exactly like the power steering rack in my Fusion when it went out, like the day before it went out. So I'll get under there though and make sure nothing's binding up. I doubt it is, but you never know. Something could be binding up in there. Maybe there's caught in something. Pull the bellows off the tie rods and inspect in there and see if anything's screwed up or whatever. Jack it up, feel the tires, make sure that it's not like a, you know, sometimes you can have weird stuff happen. You can get, you know, a ball joint or something. I had a truck once that was binding up, and I thought it was the power steering pump, and it ended up actually, it was a new ball joint that something was wrong with it, and the ball joint was seizing up. But before you condemn the power steering rack, we just have to verify that that's what it is before we start either trying to pull strings or condemning the vehicle. Because if you go and replace, let's say $2,000 to replace, you look like a total idiot if you replace something that was $2,000 and here it was something else. So I've done that before, so you definitely need to verify it first. A 20-year-old F-250, yeah, it's probably will last forever too.
Take exit 52B.
Yeah, Subarus are nice. I do like Subarus. Well, I shouldn't say I like them. I'm pretty. Oh, I have to take this exit. Son of a gun. Well, now we're screwed. Nobody's gonna let us over either. Maybe we can just get, we'll just get rear-ended here. Yeah, that'll fix it. Oh, this guy's gonna let us in. What a nice guy. I was gonna say, well, maybe we'll just get an insurance let us come getting us a new one. Oh yeah, it's definitely the rack. It's definitely the rack. The dead spot is moving. It's, trust me, like, I've had enough Ford vehicles on this platform where the power steering racks have gone out. You know the feeling, and you know you've got about 500 miles before it goes out. Traffic is tied up straight through tonight. Great. I love traffic. Traffic is fun.
In a half mile, take the interchange on the right.
Oh man, this is really a pain.
Slide right onto Willie Parkway. Then make
Where
a
is this thing
U-turn
taking
Heron Drive.
me? Why is this doing this? This is another one of those dumb things that Google Maps does to, because it thinks that you can. All right, Heron Drive. Seriously? Oh jeez, there's a car coming. Oh man, this is really tough. All right, this is one of those dumb things that Google Maps does at the last second because it thinks it's going to save you 2 seconds of driving. It's probably avoid the traffic, which is nice of it, you know. Traffic isn't too bad for the rest of this little bit. Sometimes I've had some problems around Nashville on Saturday nights. I didn't realize the thing wasn't plugged in all the way, and I didn't realize that, and it came unplugged. So sorry about that. It takes it a minute to boot back up.